Hey everybody, this is Pastor Dusstin, and I'm doing our Lent devotion for this week, and talking about righteousness through grace. And I'm going to be speaking out of Romans chapter 3, verses 10 through 24. And righteousness is an interesting topic, I think, for us to kind of discuss, especially in this time, this kind of Lent season that we're in. And I think it gets us to talking about who is righteous and what does righteousness look like. Well, if you read the verses for this devotional, um, it talks. Paul hits it on the head pretty early. He says, "Well, no one's righteous, not even one," and he's right. Without Christ, without His grace, we are not righteous. And the world we live in may tell us that, well, to be righteous, to do good things, you have to, you know, or your schedule matters, the boundaries you have matters, the things that you follow, those kinds of things matter. But for us, it comes down to a relationship with Christ. And in Paul's time, um, they had the law. We've heard the term the law. Maybe you've heard it before. There's another term. It's called the Torah, and it's a books of the Bible that kind of had how we should live, and how the early church, how the God's people should live as well. And um, there's a verse though in Deuteronomy that's kind of summing up the entirety of it, and it says, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul." So it's loving God with everything that you had, and to try to do so, they created some laws, some better thing of living. So, for instance, they wouldn't eat certain foods because there's a decent chance that there's could be disease, um, or they would, after a sickness or health, they would be in a time away from other people, because diseases spread quickly, and they wanted to make sure that others would be safe, and different types of clothing that you would have to wear. And but there were some flaws kind of in the law. One of the many was that it didn't include women, and if it did, it was very harsh towards women, in the way that they were a part of the Christian faith. And so Paul was kind of trying to help people understand that, hey, there are some things here that are good, but how we're applying them are not the right way, are not the correct way. And um, we kind of see that in the early church where Paul is talking about there's the Christian Jews, and the Gentiles, and there's a tension between them because there's a bit of a superiority for the Christian Jews because they have the law, and they're also Christians, and so they know Jesus, they're the followers, but they also have the law as well. And the Gentiles don't have the law, but they just want to follow Jesus, and so there's a tension between the two. But the unique thing about the early church was how inclusive the early church actually was with different groups, and different things like that. But Paul speaks on righteousness this way. He's talking about us. We all fall short. We are all fall short of the glory of God, and that um, there are not enough righteous things that we can do by ourselves. Not enough good works that we can do by ourselves to earn the grace of God. And for me, that's comforting, knowing that, like, I can. He freely gives that grace to me. Um, I don't earn that. That's something He gives for us. That gift is given. And that's pretty comfortable for me to kind of seeing that. Um, but also it's freeing in knowing that I've sinned. I've been a sinner. My past life has led me in a path where maybe I would not be proud to be, but you may not be proud to be, but God is saying there's forgiveness and there's grace for those things, and you don't have to do X, Y, and Z to come to me. No, you can come to me as you are. And Paul is trying to say, hey, we should not be making it so difficult for someone to be a follower of Christ. Like, we should be encouraging this and showing that you're not going to have every I dotted and every T crossed. You're not going to have everything figured out. Not your entire life is not going to have to be figured out before you can come to the Father. It's like, no, come to me now. Come to me where you are. And um, I think it's just important for us to reminder the devotional says this way. It says, this way did not include the burden of following the letter of the law, but extended grace to us instead. Grace made a way for us to connect with God, not based on our own righteousness, but the righteousness of Jesus. which is why in this season we can confront our sin. In this season of time, we can confront the sins that maybe we have put off for a time, that maybe we thought could coexist in our relationship with Christ, and that we can attack that, and we can confront it and say, like, no, I'm a follower of Christ, and His grace is given to me, and God, give me the forgiveness that you promised. And we can find that in there. And it goes on to say, we can confront our mistakes, our humanness, and our pain, because we know there is a story of grace that is extended to us if we are willing to receive it. We have to be willing to receive that grace. We have to be willing to say, God, I want whatever you have for me. I want to give you my all. I want to love you with everything that I have, God. And God, help take the shame away, the fear that we may have in this time, because it can be intimidating to confront those sins, because sometimes to confront those sins we have to confront people, and we have to have difficult conversations with God, because we have built this identity that we think we have to have. But God is saying, no, I have grace for you and love for you. So I hope that you'll find that in this time, in this season, as we confront those things in our life that are not from God, and that God is wanting us to seek a better and new way so that we could be righteous through Him. Um, Thank you, and have a wonderful day.